very good evening to all. Thank you so much for investing your time with us on a Friday evening and joining our panel discussion on the topic, Know More About IC15. My name is Rekha Khan. I'm going to be moderating the panel discussion today. On joining, you would notice that you are in mute. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please write them on the chat section and we will revert back to you with your queries. From the creator of Odin, MCX and IEX, here is yet another credible and exchange-neutral platform a user can rely on while walking towards the path of crypto and blockchain understanding. Starting from education to knowledge to all the latest news, all covered under one super app, Cryptowire. Let me first take you through the app briefly. We all know that crypto and blockchain ecosystem is emerging at an immense speed. And to keep a track of all the events, prices and news looks to be difficult. So what if we have an app like our buddy who walks with us, thinks like us and responds to what we expect? Yes, you heard me right. Our own global crypto super app, Cryptowire. Let me take you through the app briefly. Here is a global crypto super app, Cryptowire. Let's start with the homepage of the app, which covers all the three verticals: Crypto University, Crypto TV, and Cryptowire services. Under the Cryptowire services, we have rolled out India's first global index of cryptos, IC15, which is yet another feather in Cryptowire's hat. It tracks the performance of the top 15 cryptocurrencies globally based on market capitalization. Crypto enthusiasts and crypto traders can take informed decisions based on IC15. Under WireWatch, in this section, we can monitor the best exchange to buy and the best exchange to sell a particular cryptocurrency. In the center of the screen, we can also monitor the arbitrage opportunity available between the two exchanges for the same cryptocurrency. There are more than 350 plus cryptocurrencies listed on our platform, along with 70 plus exchanges worldwide. Coming to Crypto TV, it's an exclusive 24/7 mobile IPTV covering everything on crypto and blockchain ecosystem. It is currently available in 4 different languages.
Unlike government-issued currencies, there are no physical bitcoins.
Coming to Crypto University, being the world's first digital university to offer courses on crypto and blockchain, you can find the best courses offered by MIT and University of Michigan on a single click in the app. With this, today we're going to have an amazing panel discussion on knowing more on IC15. Cryptowire's goal today is that whatever your role is in the industry, you should go back with the knowledge that will help you see things in a fresh perspective. And you can apply this knowledge and information gathered today to make informed decisions in this space. We'll take a few minutes to briefly introduce the panel members and tell you a little bit about their background in the industry. Let's start with the panel introduction. I have with me Mr. Arvind Kumar, who heads the research and index in Cryptowire. He has been leading the team right from inception to the execution of Cryptowire. Most important feature, IC15. Arvind is invested in the idea of academics and research. Developing knowledge and research network is his passion and priority. He has been a visiting faculty to numerous reputed management schools. His diverse interests and expertise over 25 years include in-depth insight on the financial marketplace, macroeconomy, risk models, and their impacts on an array of asset classes. He led the designing of Golden Peacock Award-winning financial product and also coordinated the launch of the equity and derivative segment at a national level exchange in India. Welcome, sir. Second up, I have with me Mr. Josie D'Souza. Josie currently is the index manager at Cryptowire, who is also a very active part of the IC15 feature. He has worked in CRISIL in the index department and later was transferred to the joint venture between CRISIL and NSE called India Index Services and Products Limited. In IISL, he was in charge of day-to-day index calculation. In all, about 90 index were calculated on a daily basis. He set a new industry calculation for AMFI as per their new guidelines. He has also worked at MSME, where a new database for about 1,500 securities were created. He has over 2 decades of work experience in the field. Hi, sir. Welcome to both of you all. So we would like to welcome both of you to the session, sir.
Thank you, Ruksha.
Welcome, sir. So you can start with the presentation.
We are very thankful to Ruksha and Cryptowire for providing us this great opportunity to share a bit more about IC15 and its journey, how it got into the shape, how the time when we conceptualized, the time when we discussed about the idea, we evolved it, went through various iterations, and there was a challenge for us to come up with a complex one or a simple one. And then we went by the granny's advice, go for a simple one. So here is the IC15 we created in a very simplistic manner. And it is so simple and easy to understand so that even a layman can understand it very easily. So we are very hopeful to take you through about this IC15. So let's understand why we need an index first before we actually delve into the IC15 part. So why we need an index? So Joshi sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now what is happening is in the cryptocurrency, basically there are about some 10,000 coins. Okay. So there was a need to benchmark these coins to a particular index. Okay. So since there are very few indices actually in the world which tracks in the cryptocurrencies, so we felt there was a big vacuum there. So we created this indexes based on 15 coins, which is known as IC15 from Crypto Market Wire App. Okay.
Great. So as we know, as name implies itself, IC15 it's an index of 15 underlying 15 cryptocurrencies, and we'll discuss more about that. So as we progress, we will know a little more about like what are the uses, what are the features, what are the benefits, who are the participants who will get benefited out of this index, what are the industry participants across the array of individuals or institutions who can use it, in what manner it can be used. So we will be discussing almost every aspect of this IC15. So before, as we said, before we get into IC15, what an index number convey. And when it comes to financial market participants, they are very well versed about various indices, be it Sensex, Nifty, Dow Jones, S&P, FTSE. And just by looking at one number, we are able to sense what's happening in the industry. For example, if an index jumps by 5%, we immediately come to know that there is something significant happened in the economy. Or if index dives down by another 5-10%, means something very, very significant happened in the industry. So even, like say, as many participants say or many experts say, that even if you are a very novice person, you have no idea about the economy or economic aspect of the country, just look at one number that is index and you will know each and every aspect about the country or about the economy or for that matter about the world. So that's what an index conveys. It is very, very useful. So just look at the one number, how it moves, maybe a little bit of historical performance, little bit information about how it has moved in history, how it is moving over a period of time, maybe in an hour or maybe over a period of a day or maybe over a period of a month. And then you will be able to see, oh, wow. For example, say IC15 currently say 40,000 and from 40,000 it moves to 45,000, say almost 11%. And you will be able to say, oh my God, so 11% worth of value creation happened in the industry means this crypto industry is facing something very, very significant. And then probably you can go back, you can further deep down. So either you can take a very quick decision based on just looking at the number, or you can deep down further what's actually happening, and you can again take a very informed decision just looking at one number and taking reference from here. So having said that, one second. So this index of cryptocurrency, it's a rule-based broad market index. When we say broad market index, because we consider coins based on its market capitalization. One very interesting aspect about this crypto industry, which is very different from other industry, with the financial industry, it's the volume. So let me give you a quick insight about the crypto industry volume. So, but there is a one term you may be aware about, that the velocity of trade. Velocity of trade is the volume of trade compared to its market value. So in crypto industry, this velocity means the value of trade compared to its market capitalization is almost 7 times. Whereas in financial market, be it equity market globally, I'm talking about, it's not even 2 times. So that's a very interesting feature of this crypto market. So liquidity is very important parameter. So we were, kind of very much influenced by this phenomena, and we actually captured this liquidity aspect in the index by considering that the basket of index must be in top liquid cryptocurrencies. So the weightage and methodology it captures in detail, we will be covering about that. So this index, which comprises of 15 currencies, it is having a significant factor of market capitalization, another significant factor of liquidity, that is traded liquidity. If we talk about the return of this index number over a period of maybe almost 4 years since launch, we launched in say 2000. Technically, we launched in 2022, but the historical data or the backtest data we have since April 2018. So over a period of 4 years, it has generated almost on an average how much?
About 80%.
80%.
But
Yeah, right.
If you see in some calendar year, it has given negative return, and some it has given positive return. Like if you see in 2018,
Yeah.
it has given about 53%, negative return.
Okay.
But subsequently, I think in 2020 there was a big spike.
Yeah,
About
2020 was a year of cryptocurrencies, so where every coin, you talk about the coin and it is
Correct.
going up.
Correct.
So even index is capturing this almost 300% in 2020. It's great.
Right. But for this calendar year, I think it's going to a negative zone. So
Yeah.
about 45%, I think.
Everyone is aware
Yeah,
about what's
yeah,
happening in
yeah.
crypto industry. So
Correct.
the index is also reflecting the same. That's great.
So that's it.
Another very interesting phenomena of this index per se, it is having a Sharpe ratio of 1.06. So what is Sharpe ratio? And those who are very informed person, they are very much aware about the Sharpe ratio, but in a simplistic way, and I'm taking words from Wikipedia, Sharpe ratio above 1, that is generally considered good, as this would suggest that portfolio is offering excess return relative to its volatility. So what does it mean? So in simplistic way, whatever asset we invest in, we consider how much risk we are taking and how much return it is generating. So risk adjusted return. So if the investment out of that index or investment out of the portfolio or investment out of that asset, whether it's an individual asset or group of assets or a portfolio or an index link, whatever asset may be, if it is offering you a return which is higher than the risk you are taking, it is considered good. And if it is offering you lesser return compared to the risk which you are taking, it is considered substandard. And those who are into this index or maybe some kind of portfolio management, mutual fund, or any kind of fund industry, they are aware about it, that achieving a Sharpe ratio of more than 1, it's very difficult. And this index has been designed in a way that it has achieved a Sharpe ratio of more than 1. Means consider you are constructing some kind of portfolio, some kind of asset around it, some kind of investment around it. So your return, historically I'm talking about, would have been higher than the risk you would have assumed. So that's a very interesting phenomenon. And if you talk about Nifty or Sensex or other indices, I don't have the current data, but in very past, almost more than 5 years ago, I had calculated this ratio, it was not 1. So this crypto, the IC15, it is having a Sharpe ratio of more than 1. And I assume this performance would continue in the future as well. Talk about the basket, Joshi.
Okay, now if you see, these are the current basket. Okay, so what we have observed actually, there are certain coins which come in, don't meet our criteria, so we replace them. So if you see from the current list, Shibu Inu, which was replaced in 1st January, because that was in our December quarter review, we have replaced it with internet computer. That is another coin. So it was not fulfilling our criteria. So we had removed it out and we have put Shibu Inu in its place. Similarly, if you see Polygon has come in instead of Bitcoin Cash, that was in the April review, and Cryptocoin, which is now known as Chrono, has also come in 1st April. That was in place of Uniswap. And of late, you must have heard of Terra because of some corporate governance issue. Okay, we had to replace it on 13th May. We replace Terra with Near Protocol. Okay, so these are the index changes which we do. So we send out a media release, press release, as and when the changes take place.
So this basket of 15 coins, it represents almost 80% of crypto market capitalization. So if you add the market cap of all crypto, this 15 coins represent almost 80% of market cap. Here we are talking about only crypto, not all cryptocurrencies. We are not considering stable coins. We are only talking about what pure crypto, either coins or tokens. And when it comes to liquidity, it captures almost 60%, 65% in terms of turnover. So take whatever parameter, whether you take liquidity or you take market cap, it captures almost 2/3 or higher. So that's a pretty significant feature of this index. So what are the features of this index? As we talked about, this IC15, it acts as an industry barometer for crypto industry. So you look at the number, you know about what's happening in the industry, whether something good is happening in the industry or industry is not happy about something. So if industry is not happy about something, then this number will start going down. And if something good is happening in the industry, this number will start going up. Another interesting feature of this index is it's a very simple and easy to replicate. Consider tomorrow you want to come up with your own portfolio, you want to come up with your own basket, and you can simply look at the number, look at all the information which we provide, and you can create your own basket of 15 coins in the similar ratio, similar weights, and your performance will be very much linked with the IC15. So it's a very easy, very simple, and it's a very transparent. Like each and every piece of information related to the creation and let's say reconstruction of the index, we have put on the website in the index methodology. If anyone, any single person who has little idea about simple calculation, maybe grade 8 standard kid, if he wants to read and he wants to replicate, he will also come up with the exactly same number. It is so easy, transparent. So that's a very interesting feature of this IC15. There are people who talk about like index has to be very complicated, very complex, based on some complex statistical computation. I'm very happy to share that the most referred number in the entire financial industry, that is Dow Jones. That is the simplest index world has ever seen. And probably IC15 in terms of simplicity and efficiency, it's very near to Dow Jones. So that's very interesting. If someone is trying to create some kind of investment vehicle around this, so there is a cost associated with the creation of that investment vehicle. We have considered that this cost, if that cost is higher, ultimately investor is going to suffer because that cost will be passed on to the investor. So in case of IC15, the construction has been such that this cost of creating investment vehicle has to be lower, and we were able to achieve. So the cost of creating any investment vehicle around it, whether it's a mutual fund or any kind of ETF or any passive investment, people would be able to construct this at a very, very minimal cost. And because of this simplicity, transparency, and automated nature, if somebody is willing to put a bot over it, want to invest based on robotic style, it's like we have deployed some kind of bot, we can deploy some kind of algorithmic program, we have deployed some kind of robots. So you can continue to play pools in front of a screen or maybe around the beach, and this robot will continue to work for you in the industry and continue to generate the return what IC15 is generating. So it's so interesting. I don't think any index in crypto industry is able to achieve this feature as of now. It's a very true benchmark, very true representation of what's happening in the industry. And just looking at the number, you can sense what's happening in the market. It's we can say it's a very sensitive to market sentiment. I don't want to name it as a sensitive index, but it's a very sensitive to market sentiment. So, and because of all these features, as we discussed, like any investment vehicle can be created around it, because you are able to accurately replicate what's happening in the index, whether it's index fund, whether it is a passive or maybe a little active or maybe a little higher amount of deviation from the index, or you may want to exactly replicate depending on the cushion you want to provide in terms of your investment vehicle, or maybe you want to go purely for ETF, whatever kind of ETF you want to create, or maybe any kind of structured product. So then index can be easily mimicked, and because of this index which can be easily mimicked, there is a term called tracking error. Tracking error is maybe, I think we will be discussing further more about tracking error, but because we said, so tracking error is the gap in the performance of the instrument which you created and the performance of the index. So higher the gap, higher the tracking error, and it is considered as a lower, either you call investment or you call index. So because we are from index set, so we will call it tracking error is higher, is the lower is the quality of index. So in this index, if you are creating some kind of structured product, the tracking error would be very minimum. So I'll request Joshi to go to walk us through about the index construction.
Okay. Now what we do is now from the universe of coins and tokens, that's around 10,000. So we just filter them. We take the top 400 in terms of market capitalization. Okay. So we just sort it out simply in terms of market capitalization. Okay. Market capitalization, I'll just explain to you how we arrive at it later on in the next slide. Okay. Similarly, from this universe, we exclude all the stable coin. Okay. Like for example, Titra, DAI, USD coins and all, which are not as taken as tokens, we eliminate that. So we, for our index, we just want coins or tokens. Now from within that top 400 coins in terms of market cap, we further filter them out in terms of liquidity ranking, liquidity in terms of turnover. Okay. So from that, within that, we shortlist from the 400, we further filter it out in terms of 100 stocks, which are in top ranking. Then within that also we see that they should be traded at least 90% of the days, because sometimes some coins are not traded on the exchange. So we eliminate that. So at least for the index part, we see that the stock should be at least traded 90% of the time. Okay. And then whatever stocks from there are further filtered out. In the top 50, we shortlist that for a basket. From that, in that, we just take the top 15 or 20 actually we shortlist. We see from the past, the current basket and the new basket which we are creating, how many stocks are common. So if there are some stocks which are ranking in terms of top 13 or 12, 11, so we directly take them in the index because they are better candidates or better coins in those terminology.
Okay, so you are comparing that existing basket and the new basket, and then whatever existing constituents, there are good candidates, you retain them.
Right.
They are not good candidate, you take them out.
We take them out.
Great. And in the new basket, in some new candidate, which are good candidate to be included, that we included.
Right.
And that's how we arrive at the 15 constituent, this a new constituent.
Right.
And generally, what is the journey? I think how many coins we generally take out or take in? It's rebalancing.
On a random basis, we see 1 or 2 coins generally don't meet these criteria.
So 1 or 2 coins generally they go
Every
out
quarter.
of the constituent.
That's every
So-
quarter we have
So
observed.
churning ratio is also not very high. That's another interesting feature of the index. That's
Yes.
great.
Right.
And how do we calculate circulating market cap?
Okay, now coming to circulating market cap, the exchange, the coins have to inform the exchange
Mhm.
of the circulating supply. How many coins are there in the market? Okay, so based on that, circulating supply into the price, we arrive at a market cap figure.
So loosely we can say, if we take the equity market terminology, so free float market cap can be loosely equated as circulating supply in terms of crypto.
Correct.
It's not exactly same, but for a layman understanding, maybe this
This
comparison would be good.
correct, exactly.
Great.
So for that, then we have the number of coins which we have fixed for our index around 15, and the weight also it's dynamic actually. It's based
Yeah,
on the
obviously
market
because
cap.
the price is changing, market
Correct.
cap is changing, so weight is also
So
changing.
that actually gets captured in the
Mhm.
price actually,
Mhm.
along with the circulating supply. So the market caps, as and when they keep changing, so accordingly the weights also change, and accordingly we arrive at the index.
Yeah, I
number.
remember some time back someone was asking like, so why this dynamic weight? And I find this as a good opportunity to explain here as well. Like consider price of some coin is increasing. So why price is increasing? That's an interesting phenomenon. Price is increasing because something is happening, something good is happening. If something good is happening, means our portfolio should have something more of it. So the moment price changes, market cap changes, automatically weight of that coin is also increased. So the portfolio performance is higher. So that's something very interesting. And similarly, if price is going down, means something like say is happening which you don't expect to happen. So in that case, weight should automatically come down. So the portfolio performance is actually stopped. Rather, stopped means negative performance of portfolio should be stopped or reduced. So reduction of this weight, which is taken care automatically, it also takes care of negative return of your portfolio, which is restricted by reducing the weight. So that's the very important feature of having dynamic weight in the index. So that's something very interesting.
Okay, now coming to index calculation.
This is a little technical. If maybe I will try to explain it in a very layman language. So the base value, as we discussed, as on April 1st, April 2018, it was 10,000. So how it is calculated? So consider we have taken whole market capitalization on that day. So on that day, the total market cap will be equal to 10,000. So next day, the market cap has increased, say for example, by 1%. So 1% means index should go to 10,100. So what we do, the the base, total market cap on the base date, it is kept constant, and whatever change happens, that is captured. So how do we mathematically calculate it? So the market capitalization on the day of index calculation or the time of index calculation divided by the market cap on the base date, and then you multiply by the 10,000, which is the base value. So simple calculation. Current number divided by some divisor, multiply by 10,000, and then you have the index. Now, this base number, which we call it index divisor, so every time we change the constituent, this divisor is adjusted, and the adjustment to divisor is also very simple. Technically, it is called normalization factor, and normalization factor is nothing but the ratio of new versus old. Okay, so you just read this. This is also mentioned in our methodology document that's kept on the Cryptowire page. You can go on the home page of Cryptowire and you will find IC15. You click on IC15 and then you will find a methodology document. It's a very easy. It's kept on the top of page. In just 2 clicks, you will reach to index methodology document. You can download an exact same thing. It's written there, and anyone can calculate it. Anyone can replicate it. So it's so easy. The base value as on 1st April 2018 is about 10,000. The review period we have kept quarterly because this market is little dynamic. So we have kept it quarterly. We do it on a March, June, September, and December. And in some exceptional cases, recently
we did a midterm review actually.
So we call it a midterm review. Index committee decides whether this event is worth enough to call for a midterm review. So if it happens, then we have a midterm review. Other than that, the review will happen every
on a
quarterly basis. Great. So we generally announce any change in the index almost a week or maybe 5 business days. So minimum 5 business days. Sometimes we can announce it even earlier if we, because we have to mention it somewhere. We take the cutoff date of mid of month for calculation of all those numbers. So we take around maybe few days to calculate. It goes to index committee. Index committee decides, suggests, and if some alteration happens, so for this entire process takes a week around, and a week notice is given to the market participant. These are the constituent change, and on first day of the next month, I think what is the time we have got? I think 00 UTC, right?
Yeah, UTC.
UTC 00 at that point of time, and it's automatically everything is adjusted. So our tech team has done a great job.
Correct, fabulous job they have done. Actually. We have tested it out also.
Yeah. So we just define a date and time, and it's automatically calculated. We maintain 2 decimal precision, and it is disseminated through our app, website, maybe, and we are in the process of getting it disseminated through some other methods as well. Index committee, we have a very experienced index committee, which includes industry experts, includes experts from financial market, industry practitioners, academicians, and recently we have included one which is ex-regulator as well. So it's a very, very rich experience people who are in the index committee, and they are very reputed name in the industry. So, so as we discussed, like how does this index help? Like the one single number, just looking at one single number, if anyone is able to gauge the market, able to sense the market pulse, that's, I think, very, very helpful. And be any kind of investor, whether you are individual investor, novice investor, a small ticket investor, or maybe a big ticket investor, maybe if you are not an investor, maybe other kind of participants, we will be discussing about what are the different participants that can get benefit out of this index. So any kind of participant, you are able to take a better decision, whether investment decision or a policy decision, or maybe any other kind of decision. You are able to make a better decision with the help of this index number. So as we discussed, like say, uh, 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 even if you are an investor or maybe in any other kind of industry, but you are maybe you have a little bit of interest in crypto, maybe or simple crypto enthusiast, or maybe a student, or maybe some housewife. You want to have some insight about the industry. So just one number will help you out. Very simple, very easy. We have discussed a lot in terms of its simplicity and easy to replicate. So any kind of fund-based activity, uh, any kind of uh, any kind of activities like investment activities which happens in equity market, that can be easily replicated in crypto market with the help of this index. That's a very interesting feature, interesting utility of this index. We discussed about load tracking error. Uh, so when load tracking error, that's something very interesting. Or uh, even if like so even if you are not in the industry, you are not very actively participating, but you have a little bit of interest, maybe just for knowledge, or maybe you are doing some kind of research, or maybe some kind of uh, you know kind of finding how this industry is performing compared to other industry. So be it any kind of activities, this index is very useful.
So you're saying basically anybody can, use this index for their reference sake.
Yeah, this index can be used as a reference for any kind of person, any industry, any participants. That participant, even if that participant is just as we discussed, maybe simple investor, or maybe serious investor, or maybe some kind of like say sophisticated investor, fund manager, student, or maybe.
So it is useful for both the purposes.
Both the purposes. Great. Can we move to next one?
Next slide. So when and how does the coin of the index change actually? So this, we just talked about the review. So I think this is part of the review process or something like that.
Yeah, like a review, as we discussed, like a review happens every quarter and on quarterly basis. And like say, for example, currently we are in May.
Right.
This quarter will end on in June.
Right.
So 15th June onward, the review will start. So data up to 15th June we will be considering. And
so from March to 15 June, 16
for 3 months, we will be considering data for 3 months.
Okay.
So 3 months preceding 15th June, and then based on that methodology, we will be doing this
analysis of your stock fund.
So some like the internal some complex process, but externally it's very easy. All these big data analytics will happen.
Okay.
And based on that analysis, whatever outcome happens will go to the index committee, and whatever coin that is not fulfilling the criteria, that will be replaced with the coin which are fulfilling the criteria. Okay. So as we discussed, like say maybe generally 1 or 2, sometimes 3. Okay. Although we are not sacrosanct about it, we just follow the methodology blindly. We are name agnostic, reputation agnostic. We, like say when we talk about rule based, it's a purely rule based. If like I am doing, you are doing, or some XY is doing, if it is following the same process, everyone will come up with the same replacement set of coins, same index number. And as we discussed, like we generally provide a week notice to the participants, and index but the decision is actually finally taken by the index committee. And as we discussed, if need arises, we can also have some kind of midterm review. Like recently we had this midterm review for in case of Terra related event, and I'm very sure everyone is aware about what happened Terra Luna.
Okay, so now coming to the next question, what are the limitations or challenges actually you face in this index actually?
That's actually a difficult question because the limitations are actually very, very limited. So, as we all know, that crypto industry is not very developed. When we say not yet very developed, means we are the industry at a very early stage of evolution. And any asset, if you talk about equity, it was same around 100, 150 years back, or maybe even 100 years back. In India, you can see as recent as maybe 30, 40, 50 years back. At the early stage of any industry, the industry is very volatile because participants are yet to evolve, instruments are yet to evolve, the projects are yet to evolve, the methodology are yet to evolve. The same is the challenge with crypto industry. So one limitation what we see in terms of people comparing this crypto industry with the advanced or maybe developed industry, that is equity or forex or interest rate. So I will request those people who are trying to compare this crypto industry with other advanced let's say industry, we would say you go back in history and try to see their stage, their performance at that point of evolution, at the point which crypto industry is right now. And then you will see, and if you compare, you will find actually crypto is very, very advanced compared to other industry performance at that point of evolutionary stage. Now, coming back to the limitation, like because we are not yet evolved, we means crypto industry is not yet fully evolved. So that limitation is one significant limitation. And because of this, I would rather say because of this evolutionary gap, many times information asymmetry is there, like say different prices at different exchange. Many times you will see the information is not traveling seamlessly, like it happens on a blockchain but not updated on the exchange. So such kind of limitations are there, and because these limitations are there in the industry, so industry limitation is also reflected in IC15. So I would rather say it's not a limitation of IC15, rather limitation of industry which is reflected in IC15. So that's how I would.
Okay, that's a very good summarization. Okay, so now I have another tricky question actually. How would you treat actually when there's an index calculated, if there's any error or notice or anything, or if there's a wrong number actually? So how would you rectify that actually, I would say?
Yeah, and that's a very interesting one. Like few indices in the world which are actually evolved indices, they have this methodology in place because ultimately you must have some space for whatever human error or maybe non-human error or maybe you can say divine error. So even we have a set procedures, established procedures. If something goes wrong, whether we may come across it proactively or maybe somebody bring it to our notice, or maybe system captures, okay, there is something wrong. So in any case, whatever way we capture this, like say the malcomputation of index, we have a set procedure of index recalculation.
Okay.
And based on that method, we actually take care of it. But fortunately, because we all know that Cryptowire is actually backed by the very, let's say, strong tech giant, very, very strong technology background.
Okay.
So we have a very robust and very robust technology and methodology that is very, very prudent. So as of now, we have not yet experienced it. But in future, if it happens, we have a procedure. We will recalculate the index based on the same methodology. So it's more of computational error, less of methodological error. But it has not yet happened, and I wish it doesn't happen in the future.
Okay. Good to know that actually. Okay.
And interesting, not many people know about that index can be recalculated. Because if you talk about tomorrow Nifty or Sensex can be recalculated, people would be wondering, oh wow, how can it happen? But yes, a lot of, in fact, all good indices, they have this methodology in place.
Okay. Okay, now as you know, see the crypto market is really very volatile actually in the last few days and another few months. So how does IC15 help in tackling the volatility in this crypto market actually?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. How I would rather say, uh, just a moment back, we were discussing about the evolution. And as industry evolves, the volatility of industry comes down. For example, let me give you a quick comparison. Like volatility experienced in Indian equity market is little higher compared to what you experience in US equity market, because we perceive that Indian equity market is yet to catch up in terms of evolution with US equity market. Or if you talk about Korean equity market, or if you talk about maybe say we talk about the German equity market, you will find the difference of volatility. And the difference of volatility is very much in line with the stage of development of economy. So coming back to this crypto, if we talk about the vol experience in crypto market, the current vol is much lesser than the vol which we experienced 3 years, 4 years back. Now, if we talk about that's it, the industry is taking care of its own in terms of volatility. Because industry is maturing, vol is slowly coming down, and vol will be there. It's not going to go out, because vol will be there, but slowly vol will be reducing. That's the one aspect. Second aspect, and the moment we talk about, let's say, combination of assets, what happens? Unless all the assets are highly correlated. So at early stage of evolution, all assets are highly correlated, and as industry evolves, the correlation between assets that comes down, because let's say diversified projects, diversified coins, diversified use cases, diversified blockchains, diversified industries, and then like something good is happening in one industry, maybe simultaneously something good is not happening in other industry. So automatically intercorrelation breaks down. So because of intercorrelation breaks down, what happens? The combined volatility is much lesser compared to the individual volatility. That's a very basic phenomena. And that's why we say when we talk about index offers diversification, and as you keep on increasing the asset in a basket, you will experience increasing effect of diversification, and beyond a number, you will actually stop witnessing any effect. And fortunately, I'm taking this opportunity to describe why 15, why not 25, why not 50, why not 200. So we actually saw the effect of diversification. Let's say, beyond what number, we are actually not getting any diversification benefit out of this index. So we started 1, 2, 3, 4, and we kept on going. And we actually witnessed after around 12, 13, the diversity, as we keep on increasing diversification effects of incremental coin that starts coming down. So at almost 15, which is very easy number, so the diversification effect is maximum. That's why we have selected 15 coins. If I refer a number which we have mentioned on the screen, like say index vol during the last quarter, that is Jan to March quarter, it was 3.55% compared to the individual asset vol, maybe what we can say Shiba Inu, that is 5.77%, or maybe Avalanche, that is 5.4%, Bitcoin 3.39%. So you can see the index vol is much lesser than the individual assets vol. So that's how this IC15 takes care of diversification, takes care of vol of the market, and as industry is maturing, vol will slowly come down. It's very early to say, but I can easily see maybe around 5 to 10 years down the line, the vol of crypto industry will be actually less than 2% per day.
Okay. So you mean the index volatility is less compared to a coin actually?
Yes.
So coin keep going up and down more. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay. So now I just want to know the last point actually. So what do you think is the future plan of the crypto index actually?
IC15 will evolve as the industry will evolve.
Okay.
So IC15 will not get detached from the crypto market. So one thing is very sure, and that's the future plan. And how industry will evolve, how industry will move forward. Industry is taking cues from other developed market like say equity market, currency market, like say debt market, interest market, and it is having a lot of after like say we have seen a phase of a very high growth, and after experiencing the high growth, industry is actually looking for some kind of revenues where they can actually match at par with when it comes to investment revenues with other industries, like say in terms of mutual fund, in terms of ETF, in terms of derivatives. So one exchange actually he is in the, I think Big BNS. Big BNS is in the process of launching derivative products around IC15, and we have actually got a lot of interest from various exchanges, global exchanges as well. Like other it's not. I think we should not name it as of now, but others are also in the process of having some kind of products around IC15.
Okay. That's good news actually, since we can trade in an index product actually.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty interesting to know it. That's all actually, Rihanna. Do you have any other questions apart from this?
Not really. I think you've covered majorly everything. So, and we do not have any more questions coming from the audiences because it's a very niche topic. And I think people are still trying to understand what you explained because it's a very technical thing. So I'm sure because of that, not many questions coming in. Well, nevertheless, I think you've covered majorly everything. I would like to thank both of the speakers for taking our time and sharing their views on today's panel discussion. It was a very interesting session. We really appreciate the knowledge shared today. Sir, in a single sentence, what is the final piece of advice you would like to give the audience with relate to IC15? How, in a very single one-liner, how do you think IC15 is going to be really helping the masses?
If you want to know anything about what's happening in crypto industry, just look at one number, IC15. Keep looking at the number.
Absolutely.
You will be knowing about the industry as a whole.
Absolutely, sir. Really appreciate. Thank you so much. I welcome all the crypto enthusiasts to kindly download the Cryptowire app if not done already, because you will get IC15 only on our app Cryptowire. We would request all of you to also kindly share your feedback on the session. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. Had a great evening. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Josie. It was nice interacting with you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.